Calaroga Shark Media.
Hey there, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. The Daily Mail wrote an article about the top earning comedians and put some dollar amounts to it. Actually, they put pounds amounts to it, and I threw it into ChatGPT and roughly translated the pounds into US dollars. In case you're curious, in this case, we used an exchange rate of 1 British pound to $1.27 US dollars. Not crazy off. Your exchange rate may differ. Anyway, according to the Daily Mail, the top earning comedians of 2024, I'll start with number 11. I don't know why they did 11. Number 11, they have Michael McIntyre at $12.7 million. Number 10, Andrew Schultz, $16.5 million. Number 9, Jeff Dunham, quietly going about his business, $19 million. Shockingly low. Wait till you hear these next two names, okay? So number 8 is Kevin Hart. You know, Kevin Hart, who starts a new business twice a day. Kevin Hart, quote unquote, only $21.59 million. Now, why that's interesting to me is number 7, Joe Coy. You may recall Joe Coy hosted the Golden Globes over a year ago. I'm not going to bring that up, Scott Beckett, relax. But Joe Coy earned $25.4 million. So according to the Daily Mail, Joe Coy is making more money than Kevin Hart. How is that possible? Number 6, Trevor Noah at 26.6. 5, Bert Kreischer, also at 26.6. Number 4, Peter Kay at 34.29 million. Number 3, Seinfeld. Jerry brought in 39.3 million. Number 2, Sebastian Maniscalco, big successful tour. Okay, 48.26 million. And number 1, do you want to take a guess here? And it's a shocking difference according to the Daily Mail. Again, they have Sebastian at 48.26 at number 1 with 71.12 million. So that's, 25 million more, loose math. Number 1, Nate Bargatze. Wow. Nate had a big tour, but Nate quietly became a monster. I think everybody's aware of him now, but I had no idea he was making that much money. Nate is making, 40% more. I'm doing loose math in my head. 40% more than Jerry Seinfeld. I still don't see how Joe Coy's making more than Kevin Hart, but okay. Meanwhile, Billboard shared the top 10 highest grossing comedy tours of 2024. They say the top comedy acts collectively grossed a record-breaking $396.7 million, up 52% from the year before. I'll go in the other direction here. They have at number 1, Nate, grossing $82.2 million, 148 shows with 1.1 million people going to see him. Number 37 overall in the all-genre rank, so I assume that includes Taylor Swift, for example. At number 2 tour, Matt Rife grossed $57.5 million, sold 733,000 tickets across 256 shows. Gabe Iglesias, another one of those quiet monsters, maybe not this week because he's in the news, but he grossed $42.8 million, sold 603,000 tickets, 124 shows. Cat Williams grossed $37.5 million, selling almost 400,000 tickets, 60 shows. Sebastian grossed $36.5 million, selling 293,000 tickets in 53 shows. Kreischer, $29.7 million, 388,000 tickets, 64 shows. Trevor, $29.7, 392,000, 94 shows. Jerry, $27.8, almost 200,000 tickets, 36 shows. Adam Sandler, $27 million, selling 261,000 tickets in 26 shows. And number 10, Joe Coy. Maybe he should host the Golden Globes. Give him more than 9 days to prepare and don't invite you-know-who with the icy stare. Joe Coy grossed $26 million, sold 368,000 tickets in 83 shows. Speaking of Gabe Iglesias, earlier in the week before the fires, he was profiled by the LA Times. He shared that the title of his new special was supposed to be Hard Rock Fluffy because he shot the special at the Hard Rock in Miami. Everybody was on board with it. Then we got a call from Netflix who said there's money to be made on this and you can't be promoting other brands. They didn't like the fact that I was promoting Hard Rock on Netflix, and they're like, well, if something like that's going to happen, there needs to be compensation for it. I'm like, it's cool. I'm there. I play the Hard Rocks. It helps me out. And they're like, no, you can't do it. So then to be a jerk, I was like, all right, what about Rock Hard Fluffy, to try and open up the audience a little? But no, they didn't go with that either. They gave me about 8 different titles, but they sucked. Finally, we landed on Legend of Fluffy because I figured there's a lot of pieces in the special that have to do with the amount of time I've been doing this. And I was a big gamer back in the day. I had my gold cartridge, so I liked Legend of Zelda. So I said, let me just play with that a little bit. So that's why the special is called Legend of Fluffy. Switching gears, Gabe shared that a few years ago, a buddy of his told him, "You're generational talent." And I said, what's that even mean? He said, you got all these different generations coming out to see you, people that were kids the first time they saw you, and now they're adults, and some are bringing their kids. I'm like, that sounds weird. And I'm like, oh, I used to have hair, so it's really, really cool to see that. I think it's really beautiful that people come out and tell me, I grew up watching you. Every time they say that, another gray hair comes out of my beard and another hair falls out of my head. All right, some political stuff here in the second half. If you don't want to deal with the politics, you are dismissed. I understand, but I've got a bunch of stories that pair up nicely. Let's start with Jim Gaffigan. He was on the Last Laugh podcast. He shared, I regret that people think I was criticizing people that support Trump. That was never the intention. Jim says he doesn't regret publicly going against Trump, but acknowledges that he might have lost some fans. Jim said, I also do acknowledge that there were true diehard Trump fans who probably enjoyed my comedy, but because they feel so passionately, they'll never forgive me. According to Jim, the backlash he received for criticizing Trump was noticeable, but didn't affect him that much. I wouldn't say it was measurable, but there were definitely comments on social media, and there are still some. Bill Maher revealed his issue with the Democrats and revealed the main reason he goes after woke liberals more often now. He says, you give me more material. I'm a comedian. I'm going to go where the gold is. The Democrats can't stand to have to endure a moment of hearing something they don't already agree with. Not that the right doesn't do it too, but the left does it worse. Everything with these people has to be an opportunity for virtual signaling. Bill says some Democrats have cut off their friendship with him because he's had on people like Ann Coulter, Bill Barr, and Ted Cruz. And he says, just think about what this is. That's people who hate me for who I won't hate. It's in their psychological profile. They just have this need for virtual signaling and to have their friends, and I guess everybody on social media think of them as the good guys. We're the good people. We know who's good, and it's us. He also criticized the youngins, saying they have no perspective. Quoting Maher, they've been indoctrinated into this idea that they live in the worst country in the world at the worst time in history, when actually they live in, with all our flaws, still probably the best, with definitely, indisputably, the best time in history. What America needs is a colonic. Would Trump be the man I choose first to administer it? No, but I'd like to see what he and Elon Musk are going to do. Many Republicans say, maybe we could get Bill Maher. No, you can't. What you can get is Bill Maher being honest about the left. I'm not going to join your team that doesn't believe in democracy. And he has a message for Kamala Harris saying, you lost a crazy contest to an actual crazy person. Congratulations. Meanwhile, Whitney Cummings commented on the political left. She said, I always thought of myself as a pretty liberal person, but I don't think the left is as liberal as it used to be. It's like the left became the party of censorship. It's just wild to me that we're in a time where if you're on the left and you don't criticize your party, how much do you even care about your party? Do you know what I mean? It's like what's going on with the left. I had to say, I just finally broke. She adds, if you love your party, you have to be able to criticize it, you know? And I don't really take sides. She then joked about some hypocrisy, quoting Whitney, my body, my choice, but you have to take this vaccine. And also, my body, my choice, pro-choice party, but you don't have a choice in your candidate. I'm not an expert on politics, which is why I've always said I'm not weighing in on it, but I am an expert on hypocrisy, okay? I was raised by hypocrites, I've dated them, and I know hypocrisy when I see it. And that is your comedy news for today. Send your letters to Whitney Cummings, Bill Maher, or Jim Gaffigan. I'm just here to tell you what's going on. See you tomorrow.